you how to track your time as a school counselor. It is a wonderful advocacy tool. I do it two different ways, or I have two different types of spreadsheets. There's the weekly one, or you can even call it daily one, because there's a tab for each day. And all of those times get dumped into the monthly time tracker, or you can call it the annual time tracker, but this is the one that actually analyzes your data for the year. And it's so helpful to see where your time is spent because there's a summary at the end. And I will go ahead and show you real quick. Here is a time tracker for this last school year. And you can see that my time was not like the state mandated data. There was a little bit of imbalance on where my time was spent. And I was able to use this tool as a way to advocate for the program. And now 504s are off of my plate. So that is actually something that I would highly suggest you use. And I created this daily spreadsheet that I'll switch back over here. I use that to easily dump the data into the annual one, the monthly and annual one. So it makes it a lot easier. And another helpful thing about this spreadsheet is that I can later on search through all of my files to see, for instance, I can go to my weekly tracker, type in a student's name, or I can type in I can search among these files to see, so you can tell I have week 4, week 5, week 6. I have a spreadsheet for every single week, but I can search to see when I met with a certain kid, or if I knew which week I'm looking for, I can pull it up and go look at that data, those little notes that I wrote. Okay, well, I consulted with this teacher on that day. So I can either, since it's Google, I can search it up here and specifically search in that folder. Um, the folder that I'm in right now, where I keep all my weekly trackers. And so that's just a really helpful tool. So let me go ahead and show you how to use it. Every time I have my template and I file, create, make a copy. I would just change it to ski week, and ski is what I go by for my last name. Week 3, 2, whatever week you're on, right? So, and then I would just change that and change this. That's the only time I have to change the dates because I don't really need those on the each daily one. Okay, so this sample sheet you can keep or toss, but this is how I determined what these duties, and these are Texas aligned for the Texas Comprehensive School Counselor model, but I went ahead and decided, with the help of my principal, where these fell. Is substance use related? That's pretty easy because there's actually a category for that in the Texas model. Some of these down here were up for debate. Do I think running the PBIS store is a non-counseling duty, or is it system support? My administrator might have different opinions about that. And so we would kind of go through and determine those things. I actually use this, which I will throw this in as well. It's just a document that kind of outlines all the duties I had. And you can, obviously customize it. You may not have to do yearbook, but does yearbook fall under a non-counseling duty or system support or some other category? Again, this is something you might want to work out with your administrator and be really clear on why you think it's non-counseling duty. For instance, I do think the yearbook enriches the school, but is not really directly impacting student well-being, mental, emotional, social, well-being and health. So that's something I would put under non-counseling. So that's something that you would want to work out and determined where they fall, right? So these are things. This is basically similar to that document I showed you, and you can see that I've put them under different categories. They're all by check marks. So let's say I have a second grade. I'll just put second grade and then teacher name. And then I can, like you see here, I'm gonna go ahead and uncheck it. I can check and then just drag it down, okay? That lasted me an hour and 15 minutes, okay? Most of the time they wouldn't last that long, but let's say they did. And then, because these are all in 15-minute increments, I thought that would make it easier to track our time. It seems like a lot of things are in 15 minutes, or at least 30 minutes. So if I'm going to do individual counseling, sometimes I just do IC and student name, right? And so then I would go over here, click, and I met that kid for 30 minutes. So that's all I need to check. And then I had a break, or maybe I had a back to back. Maybe right after that there was a crisis and then student, and I can click on that. Maybe that crisis took a little while longer. I don't really have anything specifically for breaks. I just kind of left it off, or I just put lunch. But a lot of times our lunches are spent doing things like while we're eating, which I highly recommend you try to give yourself a break. But you might be doing entering some data, kind of updating, even doing these logs right here. This would be considered a clerical type of work. Okay, so anyway, I have one for every single day, and it was, again, very helpful for me to do it this way. I have used software like Scuda software to track time, and I modeled this kind of similarly to that. It's a little, in some ways, easier than Scuda. You have to put in a lot more information for every like activity that you do. But it has some similarities, and that's it. So anyway, on this summary sheet, it's very helpful to see your time for the week and where it's going in this chart. Also, I put down here at the very bottom, you're going to see your time, your in minutes down here, okay? What's helpful about this is that you can copy and paste all of this into your annual or monthly tracker. So let's say that was August. I can go up here. Okay, it started on Monday. I could go ahead and, oop, let me go back to that. I can go and copy all of this. All right, Command C. Now I'm going to go over here and instead of just doing Command V, I'm going to paste values only. Okay, so that is how I quickly just get the whole week's data into the spreadsheet without ever really having to go in individually, add things to this monthly tracker. And this, by the way, this spreadsheet is the one that I would share with administration, whether it's your counseling director, lead counselor, fellow counselors, or principals. That is something you would share with them. You wouldn't necessarily want to share your daily goings on like this spreadsheet. You're gonna have a different one for every week. So I would not share that with anybody. Also, counseling notes, this is going to be something if you have a student name, obviously I'm not going to put a lot of information on here, but you just want to kind of keep in mind how you like to do counseling notes. But this whole folder that all of my weekly sheets go into is locked. It's mine, personal ones. I would not share with others. Okay, so that is how I use the weekly time tracker. Just a little side note, if you are also an LPC associate like myself and tracking hours, this is another way you can quickly copy and paste and put it into your, this one I keep clicking on, the LPC hours. All right, so I think that pretty much covers it. Keep in mind, like I said, you can delete this. This I used for the first couple of weeks just to be like, oh, well, what did I say that this fell under? What did I say that the 504 fell under? And I would remember, where I put it. So you can edit this however you need to. You can edit the key. All these things are totally customizable to you. Just want to skip over to this really quick. The monthly one is something, like I said, I share with others, but I didn't really review it as closely as I should have until the very end of the school year where I looked at my data to see, where it falls compared to the state kind of mandated. And you can see it shows levels. I was elementary, so I should go ahead and adjust these to 10%, right? The top right there. And then maybe I can adjust this to 45, and this to 40, and then this to 15. And then this is supposed to be 0. Obviously, that's not adding up. I need to go ahead and adjust those. But you see what I mean? Like, depending on where you think this is a range, it's not really a hard number. So you're going to want to decide that with your probably administration where you think it needs to fall. I was not able to do as many guidance lessons where I was at. So I could definitely adjust that to be on the lower end. So I can go ahead and do 35 so that it doesn't look near as sad, whenever I'm not able to reach that number. All right, so hope this helps. I'm totally open for suggestions for following years or whatever I can do to help make this whole process easier for us.